And it looks like we are live on a Saturday.
Boom.
We're working harder instead of doing it on Sunday. We're getting it out of the way on a Saturday. Like I said, I just completely forgot about the whole Super Bowl thing. Let's see how much of a fan I am. And even the Chiefs, where I'm from, are in the Super Bowl. And I only know that because of all the Taylor Swift stuff. So, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, speaking of crazy,
she'll be the number one. Yeah, she'll be the number one reason most people watch the Super Bowl this year, I think.
Well, probably. Hey, you know what? Mark it away. I'm all for it. Go, it's like anything else. Things die, and what they do is they prop it up with some where is everyone? Thomas says, where is everyone? I'm right here. I am right here.
I'm here too.
Yeah. Probably everybody isn't here because normally we do this on a Sunday. And we're doing it on a Saturday because most people are going to be eating, which I'm not going to be doing because I failed this week because I ate too much during the week. I thought I was doing good. I actually added weight to my ruck pack. Last week I added like 15 pounds, and then I found a couple, those little 1-inch plastic weight, cheap weights. I found a couple of those and I threw it in. So for like another 7.5 pounds, I thought, I'm doing really good. Mm-hmm. Problem was my eating habits had kind of slipped. So while I was adding weight, I was also adding food. So yeah, it kind of canceled itself out, and I gained weight this week. I gained as many pounds this week back as I put in my pack. What the hell?
You sure you weren't weighing yourself with your pack?
No. I was naked this morning when I rolled out of bed. That was my first thing on the podcast day is weighing myself, and I was just still asleep enough that when I saw that I was like, oh shit, okay, I lost a couple pounds. And then when I went to go put it in the little app where I track it, the little bar graph went like this, and I'm like, oh shit, I gained weight, didn't I? So yeah. Steven, that video of the news saying the same thing? It happened again with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is not a psyop, echoed by all of them. Yeah. It's at the very least, it's marketing. At the very least, it's marketing.
I'll be completely honest. I take it for better or for worse. I think the entire relationship is bullshit, but that's just me.
Even if it's not, how long is it going to last? It's the same. Isn't she famous for having a million different boyfriends? I mean, that's kind of her whole career.
She is, and
singing songs about boyfriends.
Yeah, and somehow she's a role model for young women. I don't know.
I don't get
it.
Anyway, I don't know. We can be the role models. Not really. Don't be us.
Especially not for young women.
And speaking of young women and role models, I'm not sure how those tie together, but I am wearing, I'm going to get some light over here, my trigger necklace I told everybody I was going to make. I hear on other sites, guys sell these. One guy in particular, he sells these. I wear them as a necklace. We're actually going to give this thing away. I don't know how, but I get you. Muscle does weigh more than fat. I looked in the mirror though, and it didn't look like I lost anything. So it could go either way. I was trying to convince myself. I was like, belly fat is the last fat to leave, and it normally is. And then I stepped on the scale, and I was heavier by several pounds. So I don't know. I Pontoon bling. Yes. I'm the new MCU fan. I'm T'Challa, from Wakanda.
T'Challa.
I've been race swapped, so I'm T'Challa. This is my Wakandan necklace of Glock triggers.
Glockonda.
Yeah, Glockonda forever. So this is like just a part. This is probably like 100 or so. I've got so many. I've never thrown any of them away. So I have like thousands of them in a big envelope and box under my work table.
I need one of those necklaces like next week.
I can make that happen. Yes, Steven. These are all Glock trigger shoes. Glock 19, Glock 43, Glock 17, Gen 5. So Glock Honda forever. There we go, Stuart. I'm down. I'll tell you, I was thinking about something today. A shirt as I was walking in the shop with my weight and my extra weight that I gained back. I said it's not supposed to be easy as I was huffing around so it's not supposed to be easy. And that's something I think I even forget when I'm working out is sometimes I just want to coast through them. And it's just like, this is not supposed to be easy.
Yeah. I went into that, dude. I went in on Monday to the gym after our pod last week. And I went into the gym, dude, hammered it, right? Felt great. And I went hard. I did really, really good. Tuesday, same thing. I did back buys, chest tries. It was really hammering the upper body. And by the time Wednesday came around, my arms hurt so much. So I knew I was already planning on taking Wednesday off, which is fine because I was going to
gotta have a day off.
Yep. And then so Thursday, I was back in the gym doing legs, and then came back and finished up the week with just kind of some general cardio and stuff like that. My arms finally just now are starting to feel better. So I need to get better with my recovery because going hard at the gym hurts now. It was not that hard when I was in my 20s.
Well, you have to enjoy the pain. Once you know that you feel it and it starts to go away where what you normally would do, you start to get used to, and it doesn't quite hurt as bad. I always felt like if I felt it the next day or so, I was doing good. And then here, I would say in the last year or so, I kind of got to the point where I didn't want to feel bad. I didn't want to hurt. So that's where I have to start to remind myself it's not supposed to be easy. And yes, Steven, these are factory Glock shoes. These are just factory Glock shoes. This would be an expensive necklace if it was aluminum. I could do it with aluminum shoes, but I don't want to scratch anybody's trigger shoe before I send it out to them. I have a bad enough problem with that as it is from time to time.
Oh, I bet.
And they notice. Trust me, they notice. And I can't blame them. They spent money on it, and I'm good with that. But
I can't tell you how many blems we create by just dropping something. Just dropping it. That's it. Just dropping it. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. I was polishing a copper. I only had like 2. And I only had 2 copper trigger shoes, and I was polishing one for a guy. And the buffing wheel grabbed it. And this was at the end of the 572 hours of polishing. And the buffing wheel grabbed it and threw it hard enough that it was copper. So copper, is more malleable, and it dented the crap out of it. If it had been aluminum, it may have actually survived, and I could have used it even in my own. But the copper just deformed like crazy. It was bad.
Right. Yep. And that's the same thing. Brass, brass, copper, both of those, they just get mangled.
Oh yeah. That's the nice thing about a good anodized aluminum, 26 series, or 24 series, 26 series, 60 series, 75 series. They can take a beating.
Yep.
But I mean, 1100 series, where it is basically just as malleable as copper or brass. So
exactly. Yeah. We try and use all 70 series. We use 70, 75 for most of our parts.
That's true aviation quality aluminum. Now, you see that's one of the biggest fallacies is aviation grade aluminum. Let's be honest. And I know this for a fact because I worked aviation. You can just about call any of it aviation grade because we use it all in aircraft. From down to 1100 series, some rivets we used were 1100 series, so that they deformed really easily in plastic and whatnot. But most of your aircraft are 70 series, especially your newer aircraft. It's all 70 series. Older stuff in the 50s and 60s, yeah, you're going to run into some 20 series. 60 series, which is what a lot of aftermarket Glock parts are made from. 60 series, it's a good aluminum, but in aviation it has very few actual uses. We used it for small parts, really small little stuff.
Yeah,
but 70 series is a beast.
It's nice. The tensile strength's quite a bit different. It holds up a lot better over long-term use for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, people who are buying parts, they always look at the cost difference, and they see, oh, well, this one's cheaper, but it looks generally the same. It's like, no, it's wildly fucking different.
Yes. There's a reason. Normally, there are certain marketing things where people's names are attached to something that's the same, whereas something less expensive. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my delicious drink.
Yeah. What do you got there?
Just some pre-workout, keep my energy up.
You're drinking pre-workout, like just regularly kind of going about your day?
Yes. When I was a supervisor and I was doing the triggers part-time and had my full-time career, I drank pre-workout like it was like an energy drink. I probably took in 1,800 milligrams of caffeine a day just to keep myself alive. And I have a very high tolerance to caffeine. I'm actually weaned back. I'm probably only maybe 600, which is a lot, but compared to what I was, I'm whittled it down.
When I first started the shop back in 2015, it was like I would do 2 monsters in the morning, 2 monsters in the afternoon, and those are 280 to 300 a pop.
Yeah.
And then I've always been I was a Pepsi drinker for most of my entire life, and it would be ridiculous how much of those I would drink as well. A couple of years ago, because I'm getting older, my dad had open heart surgery, and all that stuff. So I actually cut out the soda, Pepsi, Coke, all that stuff, and energy drinks as a whole, and actually went to these. A lot of people don't. I don't know. So
I don't think I've seen those.
So it's called sparkling ice, but it does have caffeine in it, but it's only 70 milligrams, and then for the whole can.
Yeah.
And it's only 5 calories, and they're sparkling water, but they're not like your typical like AHA or bubbly bullshit.
Yeah.
They have just actual flavor
and not overpowering.
Yeah. So I drink maybe 3 or 4 of those a day, and it's all the caffeine I get for the day.
Okay. That's the right way to do it. Let me Stuart, awesome on the stickers for my new toolbox. Perfect. Mine and another cool. I'll throw theirs on the toolbox. IR lasers, old Dremel sends things flying. Oh yes. And as for the lead time on the Leonidas, right now with my workload, it probably the earliest would be 4 weeks, but it's probably pushing that at the moment. I'm trying to weed that down, but it's been busy. It has been busy. So I would say 4 to 5 weeks probably at the earliest. But going back to the caffeine thing, I've definitely here in this last probably 2 months really cut back because I was drinking, because this pre-workout is it's pre-gym and it's 300 milligrams per serving. Mm-hmm. Normally I only have one of these a day. That's kind of my coffee in the morning. Mm-hmm. but I decided to have another one for this stream, just kind of get myself back in, get ready for it. Normally I'll do like the little drink mixes. I actually just started G Fuel. I started throwing those in water bottles. I got away from drinking pure water a while back, and I need to just get back. I mean, you know how it is.
Pure water's garbage.
You can find excuses for it. I actually love a good cold bottle of water or glass of, I truly do, but I'm so spoiled. It's so easy to throw something in water. I get away from it, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
It is truly a work in progress.
Always.
And like I said, it was a crazy week. I'm bald, so you can't really tell, and I've got less hair on top, but I am just prickly, and normally I'd get all cleaned up for this, but it's been a heck of a week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. I don't ever cut my hair. I don't do anything. It's just all
I can maybe hide it under my.
Be careful with those headsets.
Get my COVID mask on. There we go. Rest in peace, Matt. PSA, Matt. He's still got some of the effects. But this is what I wore to work for pretty much all of 2020. I was a supervisor. I didn't wear a suit or anything, but I had the polo shirt and I had to go through security, and I wore this thing. Military aviation. I wore this thing to meetings, all the time. The time.
Oh, so fucking funny.
So funny. I don't know if I could really do a very good Bane voice. Maybe I'll try later. This thing's already hot. I wore this thing in summertime in Louisiana. It was bad. I'm actually gonna take it off. It's way too warm.
Imagine having a full head of hair doing that.
Whew.
You got to tell the viewers about your new headset.
Oh, my new these are nice.
He's doing his best Joe Rogan impression.
I am. I looked up, I Googled what Joe Rogan uses on his podcast, and they're the Sennheiser HD 280s Pros. I think somewhere along there is Pro, because I'm a pro. And so I was going to do them a while back last year. Brandon needed a set of headphones. Instead of him buying a set, I was like, hey, this gives me the perfect opportunity to upgrade to the full Joe Rogan experience. And I gotta say, these are very comfortable. These are extremely comfortable.
I'm digging these too.
That's the thing.
First time I'm wearing them. These are really nice.
I had no reason to get rid of them. You gave me a good reason. I liked those.
So for everybody who's watching, right, he messages me, and I'm like, yeah, what headset do you use? And he's like, yeah, I use these ones, and I think that, I don't know, some brand. They're really
Sennheiser, yeah, Sennheiser.
So anyway, so he tells me, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna send me a link or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, I was looking at these ones that Joe Rogan uses, and he's like, yeah, I've been going back and forth. The very next message, like within 60 seconds, I ordered a pair. I'm sending you these ones. He didn't need an excuse. He just needed something to tell somebody else. He needed an excuse.
Basically, I had to tell myself. That's really who I normally answer to, is myself later on, because I can be a bit impulsive when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Audio Technica. I don't know if I've used any of those. I really haven't used anything fancy until these Sennheiser. When I started the podcast, I had a set of gaming ones. I think they were Corsair, and the little pads, they actually wore out. I sweated in them too much, and the pads actually started to come apart. It's getting black crap all over my face. So then I went to those Sennheiser last year, midway through last year, and I loved them actually. Then I've since upgraded. They're nice though. They're nice and comfortable. They're light. That's what I love about them.
Yeah.
The ones you've got, they are super light. These are a little bit heavier, but the sound quality is up just a hair. But
well, the one thing that I have is I don't know if you can see it underneath my beard, but I have like a tree trunk for a neck. So like holding up, I could probably hold up like 3 bricks along with this headset and be totally fine.
Yeah, probably so. I still got my little girl neck, so it.
Yeah, I don't even. Last time I measured it, I'm in the 20s somewhere, but I can't remember what. I'm 22, 23, something like that.
Now it's time to get those arms up to par.
The pythons.
Yes, the pythons. That's actually the one I was going to go with for our thumbnail originally.
Oh, the mega powers, yeah.
Yes. I was going to do something crazy like that, but the one I went with from Pulp Fiction was pretty choice still.
It's a good one.
Pretty choice. We need to figure out which one, and we'll come up with some more, which one we're going to have animated so we can kind of turn that into our main thumbnail going on. So.
Oh, jeez. Who knows?
Somebody's texting you. You're in trouble now.
Business message. They never stop. I got to turn them off.
I actually, during these, I actually have to set my phone aside and turn Wi-Fi off so I don't get any messages.
Yeah, typically I do, but I didn't for whatever reason this time.
Yeah, you forgot. We're on it. We're a day.
It's
ahead.
Saturday. Yeah,
it's Saturday. We should be off today.
Yeah,
as if we get a day off.
Yeah, I actually spent most of my day today installing a new washer and dryer.
Oh shit! Okay, I think I saw your post on Facebook of you selling or trying to get rid of your other ones.
Oh yeah, I scrapped them. I mean, I was fully prepared on taking them to the scrapyard this morning, and I'm like, you know what? Let's see if somebody local wants them, and I got rid of them. And it's funny, a quick sidebar story. So the guy comes, I listed them late because I was like, all right, well, I know I'm going to get like $20, $25 for them or whatever. So I just listed them for $50 for the whole set.
Yeah.
And so this guy messaged me at like 9:00. He's like, I can come pick them up right now. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like, all right. I was up and I was getting ready to eat a late dinner, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I hadn't eaten all day. And so I decided to let him come on over. Well, he comes on over. He's got this Chevy 1500. And he's got we're still in the middle of winter, kind of, sort of, even though we're in a hot spell. So he's got a plow truck.
Yeah.
And so this guy, he fucking hauls in, whips around, and he goes to back in because I got them off I had them in a trailer, a little flatbed trailer. I pulled them up. So he backs in. Well, he missed our driveway by like 6 feet.
Oh God.
And so he basically like cut his car kind of in half on the edge of our driveway, and he put the whole front of his vehicle over the culvert because we have like a small ditch.
Yeah.
And so he buried the front of his plow. All the hydraulics and everything for his plow were all mangled and jacked up and twisted.
Oh my God.
And he was stuck in our driveway for like an hour at least.
No.
My neighbor is a tow truck driver, and like 99% of the time has a big hauler in the driveway. Yesterday he didn't bring it home, so this guy calls his wife, girlfriend, someone, and like they come over. They bring another 1500 Chevy.
Oh no!
And they use this big ass steel chain, and I'm like, there is no way that they're, because the plow. The front corner of the plow had dug in to the front of because we're still mushy ground.
Yeah.
And so he's buried on one side from being able to go forward, and he can't go backward because of all the hydraulics from his plow. So, and they gave no fucks, dude. They came in, they put that thing on the steel chain, and they tore the whole front of the plow and everything up, trying to twist it back into shape, and just took off.
Oh my God. Over a washer and dryer. Did they at least take them?
He took him. He took him. He gave me $30. He negotiated with me over the 50 after he got there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, I'd just been like, you know what? You can just take them.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well,
wow.
It was a really interesting situation because I was like, oh, it's going to be real in and out real fast and everything's going to be good to go. And no, it ended up being this long, prolonged thing. So
wow.
Yeah.
See, I have on my driveway to my place, I'm basically at the end of a dead end road, and my driveway is almost 90 degrees to the road. And then we have these deep ditches. So anytime I get, and then the road itself has a very large ditch on the other side. So all you've got is basically the width of the road. So anytime UPS, when I had that car delivered, when they were putting my building up, concrete, gravel, it's always a nightmare. It is always a nightmare, them basically backing into my driveway. And I'm not looking forward to that with my next building extension.
Well, at least the concrete's already done.
The concrete is already done. And that guy, this is the third concrete truck I've had in there, and this guy was probably the worst. I thought he was going to go off into I thought he was going to take my mailbox off on one side, and then he tried again, and it looked like he was going to go off in it was bad. It was a bad day. It was a bad day for him. But what do you do?
You got it done.
Got it done. He did get it done.
This is supposed to be easy, right?
It's not supposed to be easy, and he definitely did not make it easy. Yeah, that's the other thing I've got going on. I've got the building extension on the shop. So that they called me to, see if it was ready so they could get it scheduled. So they're going to call me back and let me know when it's scheduled. So a 20 by 30 add-on. So that's a pretty decent size.
That's great size.
Oh yeah. I can get a lot of stuff done in an extra 20 by 30 feet.
So what's the plan for it?
I would like to put between, we were actually talking earlier about the anodizing. I'd like to see about getting that started up in there. Probably part of that is going to be overflow from what I have in the main shop, so I can kind of free up some space. I need to basically expand on polishing. I may do a small setup table for assembly. Right now, I do all of my assembly in here because it's air conditioned and heated for the actual weather. But as I expand, I'm probably going to need to set up a spot for final assembly and different testing out there in the big shop. So
there you go.
Yeah, pretty exciting. It's always good to grow.
For sure. For sure. I can't wait to grow. We're busting at the seams.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And it doesn't take long to fill up a space. It really doesn't.
No. I mean, it's just, it's incredible. This stuff that you need. And even if you need it, once or twice every so often, you still have to have it, like, we've been using the same small bandsaw to cut up our material, our raw material stock, bar stock.
Yeah.
And I've been using it's not hydraulic, it's not automatic feed, it's not anything. It's just a small little horizontal bandsaw that's on a stand.
Yeah.
And I've been using it. And I finally got to the point where I used a different one that had coolant and hydraulic. I was like, what the fuck have I been doing? I mean, just that's what happens.
No, and it does. Once you really see how nice it is on the other side, once you've gotten busy enough where you can truly justify it.
Yeah.
It's like, what have I been doing? What have I done?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and I both, I mean, I guess I don't necessarily know. I assume that you're like me in the fact that, you kind of grow up and you're lower middle class, maybe upper lower class. I don't know.
Bottom class. It was low. It was, I'm pretty much the only way that I I skip being complete white trash, if you will, is we had a farm. So I actually did work, but for the most part, definitely lower class white trash. So
yeah. So I mean, I grew up in like 1,000 square foot house, me and my brother, my mom, and my dad, and it was in the city, kind of a rundown. I mean, it was good when I first went, you know, from as far back as I can remember. It was good then, but then like it got really run down and really shitty for a quick minute there, and then we moved and everything was great because we moved out to the country. So I got a whole lot of city in me, but then I got a whole lot of country in me too.
I got you.
And but it's, you know, it's hard to justify when you grow up like that to spend the money that you need. You're like, man, a bandsaw is a bandsaw. No, it is not.
It is
not. And you figure out really quickly that you to pinch some pennies here and there, you costed yourself.
You end up giving away dollars.
Hundreds of dollars, hundreds of hours. It's just a loss in general.
Yes. I go back to when I first picked up something stupid simple as an arbor press. Because for the longest time, I was still using a hammer and a socket with tape on it and pliers with tape on it to push out pins, to push pins in. And I screwed up a lot of triggers over the time because I didn't want to spend the $60 to $100 on an arbor press.
Yeah.
And one trigger that I screwed up would have taken care of it. But
yeah, isn't that funny?
It is, especially when I got it and I'm like, you really are an idiot, James. You know that? You're an idiot.
We have some parts coming that we've been in testing with right now, and it requires an arbor press too. So I got to get that information from you, because a final assembly on our end is going to require an arbor press before we send them out to the customer.
Get at least mine's small because all I do is really small stuff. I would get at least a 1 to 2 ton. I have a half ton, and the only reason I bought it is because it came with a little pin adapter that I don't use anymore, and it's a little bit small. So at least a 1 ton or 2 ton will have the strength that you want.
Any particular brand in mind?
I mean, really, they're pretty simple machines. You could probably even get a Harbor Freight to get yourself started and be just fine. And then you could spend it. They're pretty simple. They really are. They're a pretty simple machine. Yeah, Harbor Freight. That's what Stuart said. Nordic Nevadan. It'll do what you need.
All right.
Yeah. Man, it'll change your life. Not having to pound things with a hammer.
Yeah. I mean, this particular part, I know that there's a lot of people who've been waiting for it. And so I know that they're going to sell a lot. So I just need something that's going to get the job done, and I don't have to kick around with it for very long.
Oh yeah. An arbor press will speed things up. And if you're pushing any sort of pins or anything, don't buy jack stands from them. I don't know. I'm still alive. I have some Harbor Freight jack stands. I tend to use a lot of jack stands, and the Challenger's not a light beast. So, and I'm still alive. I used Harbor Freight jack stands for a lot of things. But at the same time, maybe I just got lucky.
Are you going to put another lift in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll probably put a 4-post on the other side of, I've got the 2-post lift, and then on the other side where the Challenger basically lives at this point, I'm going to put the 4-post. So because as it is, when I've got a project that kind of stays on the lift, not having the secondary lift, and I'm lazy now. I'm lazy. I'm spoiled. I'm very spoiled. So yeah. I'm gonna end up doing that.
I was just talking to Paige, my wife, and I was telling her, like, for CNC machines, it's like we have, we have these machines, and it's like, oh, well, but we need another one for prototyping. It's like, if we're doing production work on all these other machines, then I don't have the ability to work on anything new. It's like, and we continually are doing all this production work, and we don't have the ability to get the prototyping done that we need so that we can push all these products forward.
Yeah, because the thing about prototyping, it's bad enough when you've got one machine and you're doing production runs and you've got to change your setup. With prototyping, you're going to have to change your setup a lot. And by setup, that's multiple different clamps. You're getting your vices in there right, getting everything lined up, and you might only run 1 or 2 passes on a prototype or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you got to reset up. And that's time consuming matter.
It takes forever. It takes forever to prototype. I mean, just to make one part prototyping. That's why, like, I never wanted to have a machine shop, a job shop, to be able to do that, because having to do all these different jobs all the time and have to do different setups and all that shit, forget it.
When I was a supervisor over a machine shop, the machinist, I was night shift and we had day shift. And we only had so many machines. So they would try their hardest. And I understood was to like try to save their machines so nobody would fuck with their setup. And on day shift, but of course they had to do their job, and they would get into fights because somebody messed with their setup that they took time to get in place. And it's a time consuming deal.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. I mean, we have been considering a pallet system for quite some time now, and it'll eventually get there. It's just, that's a really expensive venture.
Oh yeah.
Because then it's crazy. The amount of money that you have to have into something just to move over to pallet fixturing is just craziness.
Machining in and of itself is an expensive ordeal. Just all of the different tooling, the bits, your cutters, all of that stuff it's not cheap. I my hat's off to you. That's one of the reasons why I haven't gotten into it, is just all of that added expense and just, it's a lot. Like I said, I was a supervisor over a fab center, and it's probably one of the reasons why I just haven't jumped into it. I know how much of
it's awful,
but
it's the worst part of the whole business, is trying to balance all of that.
But man, no, you didn't miss Embalmed. You didn't sleep through Saturday. It's still Saturday. Tomorrow's a sports ball game, and we had to move it up. So, yeah.
Yep. Actually, it's a Taylor Swift concert.
Oh, that's what it is. It's a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, there's just they're playing a game during the concert.
Okay. It's, speaking of crazy stuff, our president has basically been they've decided that he's not mentally capable enough to stand trial. He's not mentally stable and competent enough to stand trial, but he is okay to run the country.
Yeah. In other news, the sky's blue and the grass is green.
It's finally coming out, things that we already know. So
yeah,
what in the world? You can start to see now, mainstream media is now going on the offensive. And what this is, at least in my belief, if you will, is they're finally getting the point where they're not going to allow him to run for president again. So
yeah, I mean,
because it's the switch is the flipped. Before, he could not do any wrong.
Yeah. Have you seen the it's brutal, but it's funny.
Go for it.
Bo, his deceased son, Bo Biden, used to be the state's attorney general for.
No, he died in Afghanistan.
Yeah, no. He actually, there was a commercial that he did for elder abuse, and somebody spliced in pictures and video of Joe Biden during the middle of this elder abuse commercial.
Oh no!
It was so fucking funny.
Wow.
I mean, it's so funny. Because I mean, he's awful.
I mean, after that came out, they did an emergency press conference, and he forgot. He said Mexico was next to Israel. He was trying to say how they were incorrect and that he is fully capable of running the country, and he literally said multiple times that he called the president of Mexico so that they could get foreign aid into Israel or wherever it was. But I'm not president, so I can forget. But he was saying Mexico. It's like the very fact that they allowed him to go out there to prove that he's not senile, and he was senile.
Yeah.
The tide has turned. They're allowing people to. I mean, even CNN of all places was making jokes about him wearing diapers.
Yeah, I mean there's
Big
nothing
Mike
that they can do. Yeah, big Mike. It would okay. I've heard this for a long time. The Michelle Obama, Mike, whatever you want to do. I get the reference there, but I feel like it would be near impossible for them to throw somebody in like that last minute. I mean, we're 6 months ish from the prime election season. They'd have to put in somebody that's more established than Michelle fucking Obama.
Well, what I keep hearing is Gavin Newsom. They want to put Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who's done nothing but destroy that state even more. Is who they want to put in there. They're not going to put our vice president
Kamala
in place because nobody likes her.
No. The most ineffective vice president I think maybe we have ever had, and that's unfortunate because women are smart, intelligent, powerful people, and for her to be the representative of the female class in politics currently is abysmal.
It's pretty bad. It is bad. Nobody likes her. It has been, and she's also crazy. Have you ever listened to her speak? It's almost as bad, in some ways worse than trying to listen to Joe Biden speak. You can understand what she's saying. It's just that she doesn't, and I'm bad about connecting thoughts. I'll be honest. You guys have seen me ramble and lose my place, but she manages to make it sound like she is trying to actually speak about something, and she just throws shit together and is looks you dead in the eye as she's saying it. It's pretty bad. Harry Camel.
It makes for some absolutely fantastic GIFs and memes though.
Yeah.
I mean, she's regardless, and I think everybody will agree, politicians are so out of touch with the general public and have been for decades that it's hard for anybody to relate to the struggles that happen in a day-to-day basis, whether it's starting a business, working a 9-to-5 for 15 years and then getting let go, working a job for 30 years and then ending up with zero retirement or very little at best, and then having to change out your work uniform for a Walmart vest or whatever.
Yeah.
All of those different things. It's just there's no relatability there.
No, and it's so funny. It's funny to me that, and I'm not really a big political person in any way, shape, or form. Or at least I haven't been. A little bit more as time has gone on, and owning a business and all of that stuff fluctuating quite a bit. It blew me away that I felt more connected to a billionaire in Donald Trump than I did anybody else that has run. It's, I'm sure he's got great writers, and he's basically an actor at this point. But it's kind of crazy that I feel more connected to him than I have so many others. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
It's a crazy deal.
I'll be completely honest. I voted for Trump both times. I happily voted for Trump both times, and I'll explain, because a lot of people that I know voted for Jo Jorgensen last time, and I didn't think she had it in her to get the votes necessary.
Yeah, unfortunately, she just didn't have a chance.
And that's unfortunate. We definitely need more than a two-party system. I'll agree with everybody on that. Yep. But and I really hope that if Trump gets back in, which he may or may not, depending. I know a lot of people believe that it's rigged. It doesn't matter. And that
I would hope that it's not. I would hope that there's a chance, at least, anyways.
I would hope so. But I'll tell you what, he better stiffen his spine up when it comes to Second Amendment rights and arguments, because we need a clear house. That shit. We need to start going on the offensive. When I say offensive, I mean trying to repeal some of this bullshit and getting back to a place of real freedom, instead of this perception of freedom that we've been given as a consolation prize for just being in the United States.
Agreed. So, I'm with you on that one, because it does. We've lost so much ground in the last few years. I look at when I first really got started in this stuff, and just the amount of, there've been little wins here and there, but overall, not even wins. They were just gaining things back that they had just taken the previous year. You look at the P80 thing, how many times that thing's jumped back and forth, and I'm not even a P80 fan.
Yeah. The only thing I like is the sentiment, right? Like, I feel like, and I hope that most people feel this way that are on our side. Suppressors, the NFA, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, full autos, everything should be readily available for as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And that scares a lot of folks. But freedom is scary. Freedom is dangerous. It can be.
Life is dangerous.
People are uncomfortable with, and we need to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Again, that's what we really need to do. It's okay to be uncomfortable about things.
Well, we also need to kind of, not only the 2A thing, we need people that work with their hands. We need people that actually work and build things and know mechanical, have mechanical abilities, because and I know you deal with this on a constant basis as well. The lack of mechanical common sense of, one thing moves this, which moves that, which can then, if you have an issue, maybe because this is rubbing against that, there's going to be a mark, that sort of thing. Just little mechanical, simple things that, because people are so far away from that at this point in the general public, we need that. We need more people that just do things, that work with, whether it's manufacturing, building, because I deal on a daily basis, and no hate. I'm here to teach. I am literally here to teach, and that's what I go through is teaching people. Hey, this moves against this, which is going to overcome this spring pressure, and then you've got, it's just breaking it down so that people can see it. And I would love to see more, because I'm kind of an idiot, to be completely honest. I'm not the best mechanic out there. I have plenty of things to prove that, but I do shine in comparison to some.
That's true.
So, yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I think the system is broken, and I think the system, and that's the problem. I think there's a lot of people who believe that no matter what happens, we're never going to be able to fully claw back what freedoms we really should have. And I think understanding that the interconnectedness of all of the different agencies and all of the heads of those agencies that are appointed by the president and some of his other cabinet and all of that other stuff, all those unelected people that are creating these rules. That's not what our founding fathers, it's not what our Constitution, it's not what anything that it's nothing that the United States was created on.
Yeah. And again, going back to them being at the very top, they're so far away from those with boots on the ground, if you will, that they're making decisions and policies on things that they really don't know anything about. I mean, both of us have worked in corporate environments, and the top makes big decisions, and they don't always make the right decisions when it actually deals with what we on the production floor actually deal with. What looks good on a bar graph and a chart and that sort of thing doesn't work in real life. So
absolutely, and that's the problem. That's why I think the key to a lot of this, and this is, you get into the oligarchy, right? Like all these huge corporations that have huge, like BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, all of those people, when they have their idea of what they want, that because they own so much, because of what they do, they have so much influence in the general public when it comes to businesses and such, right?
Yeah.
And I agree, Stephen, 100%. Again, the way that we balance that scale is people starting to rely on themselves instead of all of this other stuff. And that's huge.
Working harder just on your own every day.
Yep.
Every day doing something that's not easy. This is not supposed to be easy. None of it's supposed to be. We're not put on this earth. We can get real deep into it, but it's not supposed to be terribly easy. We're very fortunate that a lot of it's easy. So the only way to really get ahead on anything in your life is do something that's not easy.
Yep. Get out of your comfort zone. Do some new shit.
Yes. I think I fight that a lot with what I do. Even, I fear sometimes breaking out into something else because I know what I'm doing with this most of the time. And now I got to learn something new, or do I have the time to do that? Or it can be frightening, but at the same time, it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's the name of this episode.
Yes.
It isn't supposed to be easy.
It isn't supposed to be easy.
Yeah. That's it reminds me of the Jocko, who, whether you like him or not.
I like listening to him sometimes.
So that video that he did where he was talking about, and Joe Rogan actually has talked about it several times, where he's like, the good,
yes.
didn't get what you wanted. Good. Adversity creates opportunity for a lot of people.
And it does. But some of the best things that have ever happened to me were because things went wrong.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think that more people need to understand that. I think that it's so huge that, we think, I grew up with not my direct parents, but my grandparents and stuff were very religious. And my grandma used to say a lot that, and the saying goes, you make plans and God laughs, right? But it really does hold true in the sense that, we always think we know what's best. And in all reality, I think a lot of us don't see the bigger picture of what we're supposed to be doing, or what's supposed to be happening in our lives. And sometimes we just got to keep our mind and our hearts open to new directions, new opportunities, and kind of listen to the world, the universe. As I like to say, just listen to it.
Get that feeling that, I even when I'm doing something, it's like getting into this Glock thing. I never thought I was going to do Glock triggers. I could have picked 1,000 different, it happened. I I dove down deep into it and it felt right. And I kept on going. There have been other things that I've done in my life. It didn't feel right. So I stopped because there's a certain feeling that I tend to, when I get that, I'm like, okay, this means it may not be easy, but I'm going to do this one. So
yeah. Yep.
I got it.
Yes. Steven's right. I mean, yeah.
24 hours. Yeah.
24 hours. That's what you got.
Man, I feel lazy compared to what I used to be. When I was doing this part-time, I talked about it last week. It was 4 to 5 hours a night of sleep. I would wake up, I'd get my workout in, I'd go to work, 11-hour days. While I was dealing with my crew, I was doing my social media stuff and trying to, grow the business. Get off work, go build triggers for a couple hours. Try to talk to my fiance and let her know that I'm still alive, and answer emails, and then go to sleep for 4 or 5 hours, and then get up and do it all over again it was probably a good 2 or 3 years of that. So yep. Yeah, how do you got to, hours are there. There's a lot of hours in a day. It doesn't seem like there's enough, but there's a lot.
I have found, at least for myself, and this is why I joked about it in the chat, I found that I can do way more if I sleep enough.
Okay.
And for me, I am not a 6 hours and get out of bed and bust ass all day and I'm energized. It's not going to happen.
I'm probably the other half, and then caffeine is another one. But I really think myself, I need to sleep less. I got a year of 8 hours of sleep, and I need to cut it back, probably back to about 6 or 7. If I could get 6 or 7, I'm going to be in good shape.
Yeah. See, no, I want to get to a point where, and this, I know this is ambitious, but I challenge myself mentally on a regular basis to figure out a way to get a 14-hour day's worth of work into 7 or 8.
Now I get you. Be efficient. I get you there. When I say less, I don't mean completely with triggers, but with projects, having some sort of family life. Yeah. I that's probably suffered more than anything else, is just having some sort of family life, because I get wrapped up in this, and in my projects too, that I guess I'm very fortunate that I don't have kids, because I'd be that father that they're like, he was never there, but we had what we needed. So
yeah. I think that probably a lot of the viewers don't know, when we moved here to Michigan from Illinois, a lot of stuff in our business kind of broke down, because the universe, like I was just saying, to bring it back around, was telling us to do parts and accessories and not do custom work and Cerakote.
Yeah.
And so during that period of time is when COVID happened. And so we didn't have a facility to do Cerakote anymore. And so we required us to be able to pivot and go over to parts and accessories. Yeah. And during that time, I had kind of a breakthrough with my family. I mean, growing the business from 2015 up to 2019, I didn't see them very much at all. I tried to spend as much time with them as I could, but I found myself either bringing work home or bringing my stress or frustrations home, which is hard.
Yes.
Yep. And then, so I spent a lot of time, especially during COVID. I slept a lot, and I focused on rearranging my priorities so that I could spend more time with my kids. A lot of the viewers don't know I have four daughters. They range in age from 19 down to 9 now. And during the time that we were growing the business, they were all really young.
Yeah.
And I missed a lot. And I really look back at that and I'm like, damn, I don't know if it was worth it, but it provides a lifestyle now that I wish I would have had then, but I would have had to go through the same thing before.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
such a give and take. At the end of the day, at least in my eyes, you can still hold your head high. You may have missed some stuff, but you've provided. And there are so many, families that don't have that and didn't have somebody to look up to, that, they were gone, but they weren't, their father or their mother was gone, but not building something for them. They were just gone trying to, party or whatever that was. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I hope that they see that, because the opportunities that I've had now to spend time with them have been amazing, and
they're sick of you at this point.
They are. Yeah.
They're
and
older.
So my, trying to fix that, that time, especially with my oldest, she was at an age where I probably should have spent a lot more time with her. But what's funny is she looks back on, because there were times when I felt bad. I wasn't spending very much time with them. And I would bring my oldest to the shop with me. And and we're talking 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're busting ass and she's calling out of school the next day. But she'd still get her work done, and she was an A student. But she looks back on that and says, that was amazing. Like, man, we built our relationship on it.
Oh, well, that's great training for life. I mean, seriously, to get ahead, there's gonna be those times, and hopefully, she learns from that and can pass that on, because there are a lot that don't have that in this generation, because, like we talked earlier, a lot of people are putting in, hours at dead end jobs, if you will, that don't have there's no overtime per se.
Yep. And shout out to, I just want to take.
Whoa.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
I'm holding. He broke something. Got a cool toy. Got something for one of the project cars. Little Turbsky. This guy came in.
It would happen eventually, one way or another.
What'd you do? Did you unplug it?
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to turn it off.
Ah.
We are in a shop. This is live,
Oh, your air compressor.
Yeah, it was an air compressor.
Okay. I was like, man, what did he unplug his microphone or something? We got
No, everything is good there. I just air compressor turned on because it's recharging. But
gotcha.
Anyways, real quick shout out. My oldest daughter and my third daughter, they recently started businesses, and they both got their first sales this week.
Nice. Okay.
In the same day, they got their first sales. Both of them did. And so it was very cool, very exciting.
Man, that is extremely exciting.
Yeah, new entrepreneurs.
Yeah, once you get that bug, it really doesn't go away. I mean, especially those sales, when those first sale or two, and it may not. Hey, first businesses normally fail, but you get that bug and you keep doing it. I don't know. Tactical Pontoon is not my first. It's probably my fourth or fifth attempt to do something.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I did. The one before this that had the most success was it was for the Dodge Neon platform. I was building oil pumps. I was basically rebuilding and sending, like the gear rotors off for treatment, and then I would port the oil pump. I was doing tuning as well from Piggyback and HP tuners. We did engine bearings. My buddy Scott, he was part of the business. He would fill motor mounts up with special polymer, and he would go in there and he'd stiffen things up before he'd fill them with polymer. And we did that for think it was only 2 years, but we I mean, we're talking cars that were making 650, 700 horsepower out of a 4-cylinder. We were building parts for, and yeah. So that was one. That was probably the most successful that I had, but the market started to change. People weren't spending the type of money in that platform, and I got busy with life and my career, so it kind of went downhill. But we got a chance for 2 years, the biggest SRT4 neon SRT4 meet in Florida. We actually were sponsors of for 2013 and 2014, which was pretty cool. I still got the shirts with our logo and everything on it.
Nice.
So, yeah. So if I get interested in something, I normally kind of gravitate towards doing something with it. The Challenger, I never really got into yet. That market, I don't think I ever will. But
all right. Yeah. So here's a question for you then.
Okay.
What do you think has been the reason for your longevity in the firearms industry as opposed to some of the other ones?
My learning. Basically, I had to learn different skills through each venture. And so each time that I would do something, I would learn a different part of owning my own business. So learning is probably, I would say, is the biggest thing, learning. And then becoming a supervisor and dealing with my crew kind of gave me another edge with dealing with customers, because at this point everybody shit on the supervisor from top and bottom. So I got used to that. Being able to handle that is, along with all the good, you have to be good at dealing with the bad stuff, or with the complaints, and with people, and not letting your feelings get in the way, because you got to understand the people's feelings that you're dealing with first.
Yeah. Yep.
Getting out of your own head. So learning, that's probably the biggest thing. It's just learning.
Yep.
Try not to
be easy.
Yeah. Try not to make the same mistakes, because there's plenty of ways to make mistakes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And just learning from them.
I find, I've always had that entrepreneurial bug, but the firearms industry for me provides an incredible amount of problems to solve. Like, it is challenging.
Yes.
And just when you've got it, you think you've got it figured out, design changes come down from the factory, or you move into another platform or whatever it might be, and everything starts fresh.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a complete reinvention. Or and you and I have had the opportunity now where we've been able to sample a little bit of success, and you get to a point where you're like, all right, that was really cool. Where do I find that again?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Like
yeah. But how do I do it quicker?
No, well, that's shit. That's for sure.
That's the scary part, is how do I get to that point quicker? But it's not supposed to be easy.
It's not supposed to be easy. Yeah, exactly.
It's not supposed to be easy. I think that's a good lesson. I'll probably go back and edit this thumbnail to include that. Because it's not even as much as we might know about what we're getting into. Still, I mean, I get troubleshooting things that I've never even considered or thought of that hit me. Still
never ending.
There's always something new. There's always something new. Well, what did I see? Oh, I had one the other week. I'm not calling anybody out. It's a simple enough mistake, but I had never seen it before. With a Glock, on your slim lines, the spring that holds the slide lock lever, the one that holds the actual slide on, is just a little coil spring, or just a little coiled spring.
Yep.
Which incidentally is about the same size as the spring that holds the safety plunger, striker blocker safety plunger in the slide. Well, they had the entire gun apart because they just were, curious looking at it. And they made the mistake of putting the safety plunger spring, which is a lower powered spring, even from the factory, into the slide lock lever, and the plunger spring the slide lock lever spring in the plunger. And so the slide was actually, when they would dry fire the gun, it could actually overcome that spring and their slide could fall off. Yeah. So he hit me up and he asked me what the spring looked like for the safety plunger. And then he told me the story. I'm like, how in the world I've never seen anybody think to put that spring in their slide lock lever. Because I'm trying to think, how in the world would anybody think that would be the spring that you would change it to?
I've broken down so many guns. You gotta compartmentalize everything.
Yeah. He said it wasn't anything you did, and it wouldn't normally happen. It's just I had the entire gun apart and I mixed those two springs up. Because I thought for a second, I'm like, oh my God, I need to get on my website and make sure that it does say striker plunger or safety plunger spring, and because I'm like, that could potentially be bad. But as I said, he just happened to have the entire gun apart when he was putting the tune-up kit in. So when you think you've seen everything, you see something new.
Never ceases to amaze me.
It doesn't. Yeah. What a crazy world. So learning is the biggest part of starting a new venture. Is just learn from your mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, and don't give up. Maybe give up on a certain business at a certain point when it's done and you realize that it's truly done. Yes. And then go to the next one, but don't give up immediately. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be a lot of bad days amongst all the good.
Yeah, yep, for sure. I mean, with the and that's a hard part when you're in a grind. Yeah. I think at least I did. Like we Applied Arsenal Finishes was successful, but I had gotten to a point where I knew it was done.
Yeah.
And we didn't close the business. Fortunately, we were able to kind of pivot and move into disruptive defense and go from there.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like we still get messages asking if we're going to open up for Serico outside work and stuff like that. And I don't feel called to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you're in a position where you're doing something and you're not getting anything out of it, like you should be, you're done.
It's time. Yeah, it's time. You
at least take some time and assess, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe you're just in that grind. Maybe you just got your head down and you're just burned out, right?
Yeah.
And you have to decide that for yourself. Yeah. And so don't be afraid. Take some time, reassess, figure out where you're at. And if you get to the conclusion that you're not getting fulfillment out of what you're doing, and this goes for a corporate job, a regular job, a business, whatever you're doing, could be a multi-million-dollar business. If you're not getting fulfillment out of it anymore, screw it. It ain't worth it.
It's time to go to the next one. There's a door waiting for you.
Yeah.
There's now when I say waiting for you, you're still gonna have to look for it.
Sometimes you got to kick that bitch down.
Yeah, because sometimes it hits you and you're like, oh, there it is. The other times you're gonna have to, like you said, you're gonna have to full on kick that thing down. You're like, that's my door. Other times it just is open there waiting for you. Not always. Yeah. And I think we get told too often that there's a door and we think it's just going to be open and lights and it's going to have your name and it's pointing and arrows. It's not. Sometimes it happens like that. Sometimes, but most of the time you're going to see that door and you're like, that's okay. I think that's my door. And you're going to go kick that door open. and you might have trespassed in somebody else's place. You don't know, but
yeah, I mean,
let's try.
Sometimes you just got to take shit over.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Oh, kind of, I got something cool. I showed this off to them a little bit while you were shutting off your air compressor. I got a turbo. I got the turbo since we're doing a little bit of everything. I thought I'd show off my beautiful turbo for one of my project cars. This thing is actually really cool. I'm going to do an actual video on it on the car channel, but this turbine, I'm going to even zoom in on this thing. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Okay. Don't look too close at me.
I see all that stubble now.
I know it's there. This turbine is really cool because you see those little splitter blades down there?
Yep.
There's 5 full-size blades and there's 5 splitter blades. So you got a total of 10 blades. And normally in your factory turbochargers, you're going to have 12 full blades, which is going to be restrictive. The aftermarket has gone to a lot of 9-bladed turbos, which are less restrictive, but they don't spool up as fast. This is a new design where you've got splitter blades so that you get the best of both worlds, flow on the top end, and you get quicker spool up on the bottom end.
Yeah.
So this little guy is really cool. This is a relatively new design within the last 2 years or so. And the guy had rebuild this thing. He said, I can get these now. So very cool. I'm extremely excited for this thing. And then, of course, up front, you've got a newer style 9-bladed compressor. But the turbine section is the cool part about this guy. So
you make me feel so. I have a new turbo for my truck.
Hey, what?
But it's not here.
Well, I
brought the trucks at the barn.
Okay, well, I brought this one in from the shop. I was like, you know what? We're doing other things. I'm going to show off my turbo. I'm going to show it off. I can't wait to put that thing back together. Of course, I got to pull the old one off and I got to redo the wastegate bracket that I built for the other turbo, which has a bigger compressor housing. It's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to try to get it done next week. We'll see.
You won't.
I'll try. I'm busy. That's the problem. I've got so much other stuff going on that shop work, which is why I need to sleep less. So, oh man, I got a lot of light here. Oh, there's the other thing. In the house, I have all of the different colors of Grit Grip 19 frames. This is black. It doesn't show up very well, but probably the beauty is the one that matches my shirt, which is the green, the OD green. Oh man, I know last time I need to redo a video because the last stream that I introduced these on, they cut the stream. So I think I said price. So they thought I was selling it. They're probably going to kill this one. Watch. But Grit Grips, I got all 4 colors in the house. I'm gonna do some builds and send some off and whatnot. Beautiful frames, very ergonomic.
They look beautiful.
It's giving everybody else a run for the money. I'm not even gonna lie there.
Yeah.
So
it certainly looks that way.
It's nice. It's nice. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing this week is just building triggers, trying to stay sane. Built a necklace.
I need one of those things next week.
I'm supposed to send you something? I'll send you one. I'll make a package. I need to send you one anyways.
You got one coming your way too.
That's true. I got stickers for the new toolbox.
Yep.
I'm actually thinking about, I need to see if they're still doing that sale. I may buy another one just for my laser, the shop with all the laser stuff and the 3D printer. Man, that thing is fast.
Yeah, no shit.
I knew technology had gotten better on those things. I didn't realize how fast they could be. My little Crealty Ender 3 was slower than snot, and it finally got. I could probably tighten it up. It just got the feed head got wobbly on the crossbar.
Yep.
And they've got those little cam bolts. I was like, you know what? It's time. I'm just going to try something new. I gave this company a try. We're going to see. I still have to get the settings in my slicer and all that stuff. You know, I did a couple of little test ones. They load on there for free.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it out.
You got to do a benchy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got to set up. I'm going to work on that this week amongst, trying to do the turbo thing. And I got my Durango, the transfer case is leaking where the two halves go together. So I'm going to try some JB Weld water weld, because I don't feel like taking that thing apart.
Geez.
It's old. It's old. It doesn't have pressure. So I'm going to, and I got to get it off the concrete because I got the building that's going on the concrete. So it's an old Durango. It's an old Durango.
I think it's cool though. Like that's a 5.2.
It is a 5.2 Grandpa 318. Yes, sir. It's an old beast. I love that thing. And I parked it, and I know it leaked a little bit of power steering fluid, but then I noticed a bunch of transmission fluid underneath, and I'm like, oh shit. So finally I crawled underneath there. I just kind of left it there for a while. And then I crawled underneath there and I saw it's actually the two mating surfaces of the transfer case, which means you got to split the transfer case. I don't have the time to do that right now. So I'm gonna patch it. I'm gonna patch it.
Duct tape.
There's duct tape on the roof of that thing. There is duct tape on the roof. This was an old Alabama.
Is it a moon roof?
No, it's actually the roof is rusting, and where the rails, the roof rack was at, there's a rust spot there, and then at the very back hatch there's a rust spot. I didn't putty them when I painted it. I just threw some tape on it and add a little bit of RTV and painted over it.
There you go.
It's a 1999 Dodge Durango. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy. It works. So
I like the baling wire idea.
Baling wire. I'm normally a zip tie guy. I normally run a lot of zip ties. A lot of my stuff has a lot of zip ties. That's what I'm trying. I'm trying with this project SRT4 to rebuild it and actually go through and make things better or back to factory, which is different for me. I'm normally the guy who, turns them into race cars, tin canning them. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You can't drive 3 cars at once. What are you going to do?
I drive one a day. I mean,
you're just gonna have a fleet.
I kind of already do. My daily driver, if you will, is the Grand Cherokee. My fiance has a little Jeep Renegade. I've got the Durango out there. I've got the Challenger. I've got the green SRT4. I've got the black SRT4, and one of my former colleagues basically left me with a Jeep Cherokee that he lost the keys, and I actually had to drag it in the back. So I kind of have a fleet already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that point. I got a lot of projects too right now. It's ridiculous.
They add up. They add up. And I don't like getting rid. I'm a hoarder. Okay. I'm a hoarder. I'm still looking at Facebook Marketplace. Not that I even need to buy anything, but I still look at different things on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, oh man, that's not a bad price. And I think, oh yeah, and then you're gonna start putting money into it, and it is a bad price.
Yep.
It's like this Project SRT4. I didn't spend a lot of money on it initially, but it adds up when you start adding things to it. I probably would have been better off buying one of the nicer ones for like $10K, 12. I mean, they've gone to that for a nice one that's pretty much ready to go. Because when I look at what it's probably going to end up being when I end this thing off, it's probably going to be right around there. 3-speed 440 Power Wagon, Stuart. That's cool as hell.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Mine was an old junkyard Ford.
Shit, my first vehicle that I drove was a 1990 Ford Ranger, single cab long bed, stick shift.
Oh shit. Yeah, man. That's wow. Yeah, you that's like Budweiser territory there.
I'm telling you, I was country to the core.
Yeah.
I was dating my wife at the time before I had my driver's license, and she was like, I want you to I think you should get a truck. You look really good in a truck. So then I end up getting this truck, and she's like, "That's not a truck."
Oh, burn! Telling you it's too small. Shit. Oh no!
I know. And so now I only deal in full size trucks.
Okay, I actually got my first speeding ticket, or not? I got my first ticket before I had my license as well.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I got my ass chewed out by my dad, but I did have a relatively good reason for it, and it wasn't his car, it was his buddy's car. We at the time had a property on the highway, and so we would sell cars and list them on the highway from time to time. My mom broke down. This was before cell phones were a thing, really. She broke down, and she walked to a store and called the house to, I guess, let us know she was going to be late. Me being like, I don't know, 13, 14, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna jump in this Camaro, because of course we had other vehicles there, but I'm gonna take the Z28 Camaro, because of course, baby blue or Bahama blue Camaro with the big outlaw scoop. And I jumped in it and went down the road down the highway, and of course a cop saw that I only had the rear plate on. I didn't know where the front plate was. And so he pulled me over. I tried lying. Initially, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm just test driving this car. And he just wasn't having it. And so he basically, I got a ticket. He drove me to my mom, and then my mom had to drive the car home. And like I said, I got a ticket, and my dad said he got on to me, but he said you were kind of doing the right thing. Kind of. Yeah. But don't get pulled over in my buddy's car.
Well, shit, now with my oldest daughter, when she got her driver's license a couple of years ago, if you got pulled over in the first year, you got your license taken away.
Ooh. They've gotten a lot stricter on that type of stuff, and driving schools.
Yep.
That's a big thing.
You can't drive between the hours of 10 p.m. and I think it's 4 a.m.
Oh wow.
As well.
Things have changed a bit. We didn't have, there was no driving school. You would get your permit, and then they would allow you to drive with your parents or a licensed driver. And then you were pretty much free reign at that point once you got your driver's license, for better or worse.
I learned how to drive on a golf course when I was younger, so I was good right away.
My very first thing that I drove had a hay bale on the back.
Oh yeah,
I had my first thing that I ever did was back up an old 76 Chevy truck with a hay fork onto a bale, and then get out and hand winch it up, and then drive it out to the field to move it around. So that's my first experience with the vehicle. I learned on the farm.
Nice.
It did not translate very well to the road. I'm going to be completely honest. And then that was the time of video games and Gran Turismo and that sort of thing. So Fast and the Furious came out a little bit after that. That definitely spurred things on.
Yeah.
We thought we were street racers in the middle of Missouri, where the most powerful thing was an old Civic, probably. I mean, there were nicer muscle cars, but for the most part, it was, rattle can Civics and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And our little neons. So, how not far I've come.
Well, I mean, shit. When after I sold that truck because I got made fun of by my wife, I picked up a Jeep. I got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. That was my first
shit.
Jeep. I've probably had a dozen Jeeps now of various kinds.
Oh yeah. You ever get any death wobble?
Nope.
You've never had death wobble. You've not. You lie.
So okay, I'll say this. I've never went above 2 inches on the lift. And I've never had to deal with any sort of crazy death wobble. I've had. Now, to be completely honest, I've never had a Wrangler. I don't like Wranglers.
Yeah, no, I'm a Grand Cherokee guy. Grand Cherokee.
Okay, guy. I've had 2 ZJs.
First ones.
I've had 3. Let's see, what do they call them? WJs.
WJ was the next
2004.
Yep. WJ.
And so I had 3 of those, and then I've had 3 WK. That's the 2008 or 2005 to 2010.
2005 to 2011, 11 or 12.
11 was the first year of the round one.
Okay, so yeah, 11. Mine's a 12 WK2. It's basically the same deal. They just changed a few things.
Yep. And so now I have the 3rd WK, and then we now have our first Commander, which is my daughter's oldest car.
I always wanted a Commander. Big, ugly brute.
Oh, they're amazing. I absolutely love it. I'm not kidding. It is awesome.
That's the one I want. They hated him because it was during the Daimler era where they were cheap as hell. But I've always wanted a Commander. But
I'm telling you, this one's got the 5.7 full-wheel drive, limited, so it's fully loaded. It's got nav. It's got everything.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
Yep.
But the old ZJ and WJs, even 2-wheel drive, if you even not lifted, they would still get death wobble.
I had a 93 limited 4.0.
Okay.
And I absolutely love that car.
Love the 4.0s.
I'm telling you, fell in love with my wife over and over and over again in that car. Not in a weird way though. It's
already there. You've already said it. It slipped.
No, just I put so many miles on that car, and it was like I said, man, grew up poor and had an opportunity. I was looking on Craigslist of all places. No, Craigslist, or was it? It might even have been autotrader.com back in the day. And I was living in the Detroit metro area at the time, and a lady was getting ready to buy a new one. This was when the 99s had just came out.
Okay.
And so that was the first of the
WJs. Yep.
And so she was buying a 99, and the dealer had offered her $3,000 for her ZJ, and it was fully loaded, everything.
Ooh. Yeah.
And it was higher mileage, but I didn't care about that because I was a young kid anyway. And she said, "I'll tell you what, if you can bring me 3,200, you can have it." And I mean, we're talking, this was in 1999, and it was a 93. So for me as a kid driving a 6-year-old car, I felt like $1 million. And it was fully loaded, leather, had the Infinity sound system and everything. It was killer.
Man, the ZJ, that when they came out with that, the Grand Cherokee, that was the Cadillac Escalade of the time.
It really was. I loved mine.
It was. I would still rock a ZJ. But
there's somebody down the street from us that has the exact model I had.
I can't. Yeah, I'm like I said. I'll get that impulsive, and I'll tell you I got another vehicle, but I better not. I got too many projects as it is. But okay. Well, I think we've had a good pre football or Super Bowl podcast. I think we touched on some good things, and we'll get finished with it this week. We'll come back next week on our normal Sunday time. I will, when we have more people and when I think about how I want to give this thing away, I'll come up with a way to do that. So
that's right. Glockonda forever.
Glockonda forever.
It should be like this, right?
Yeah, that's true. Or I could put on my Bane mask and do that as well. Really mix up the universes. But all right, guys, we're gonna roll off here. We'll do this again. I'll try. I'm not gonna make any promises. I was gonna lie and say I'm gonna do a video this week, but I can't promise. It's another busy one. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I'll catch you guys later.
See you guys
later.